Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talent. Every challenge I overcome. Low key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm handling business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I will be continuing my Lilith through the signs series with Lilith and Aquarius, or Lilith in the 11th house. And so this video is for you if you have natally Lilith in Aquarius, or if you have Lilith in the 11th house. And so what is Lilith? Lilith is based off of mythology. It is not meant to be taken as if this story really happened. But what we do is use the symbolisms in the story to show how we might be experiencing this in the Aquarius area of our life. And the house represents what area of life we may see this in the most. And so Lilith is the first wife of Adam. They were both created equal, both made from the dirt, both had the same skills, knowledge, and independence. But over time, Adam grew obsessed with controlling Lilith, always wanting to be on top, making all the calls. And Lilith was like, why does it have to be that way? I want to be on top sometimes. I have knowledge and skills that I can provide as well. And so because Lilith wouldn't conform, they kicked Lilith out of the Garden of Eden, which sent her on a vengeful, angry rage. And it said that she slept with demons, had babies with demons, killed babies, and just was running around town doing devilish, devious, mean things. Even whispering in Eve's ear, which Eve was created from Adam's rib. Once Lilith was kicked out of the garden, and Eve was made for Adam to be more submissive. And so Lilith would whisper in Eve's ear, stating that she didn't have to conform, she didn't have to submit. They're lying to you. You have the right to choose, trying to get her to leave Adam. And so a lot of the symbology that we've taken from this story is where we have repressed sexual energy, repressed revenge, anger, and jealousy, devious behavior, yeah, I feel like I could say more about that, but I mean, that's pretty much it. It typically shows our lower expressions of ourselves. And Aquarius is a fixed air sign ruled by both Uranus and Saturn. And so there tends to be a lot of confusion on how to really talk about Aquarius, because typically Uranus is an outer planet. It's further away from the Earth, which means it's more worldly events than it is personal events. And a lot of people don't even acknowledge, unless you're into Vedic astrology, that Aquarius is technically ran by Saturn, like Capricorn. And so there's a lot of mixed messages on how to really talk about Aquarius, but I'm going to try my best to explain from both the Uranus perspective and the Saturn perspective. And so it lives in the 11th house. And a lot of what the 11th house rules is social networking. And social networking, because it's at the top of the chart, we're talking about politicians, scientists, people that are extremely intelligent and in very high positions. The humanitarian, people who want to give back and do things for others and help people rise from poverty mindset and lack mindset to come together as a community to work together. This is our hopes and wishes, friends and friendships, the oldest sibling, typically it represents the oldest sibling in astrology. And it can represent a sibling that is adopted or has spent some time in some kind of adoption agency or kind of going from home. The runaway, if you will, the one who's misunderstood often, left out, weird, misunderstood, and things of that nature. Aquarius is about freedom, innovation. It's the rebel, it's the revolutionary. Oftentimes it's related to being detached, loners. It's electricity, unexpected events and changes. Breaking social norms, unconventional, quirky, futuristic, and technology. And so when we put the two together, these people can constantly feel be rejected from groups or feel like they never fit into a particular group, or even feel alienated and outcasted. Especially this might have been things that they experienced at a very young age, and that carried out into their adult life. These people are extremely creative, innovative, rebellious rule breakers, to like on the 10th power with Lilith, right? Because Lilith is the extremes, it's our lower expressions. And so they tend to kind of go overboard with being rebellious, creative, innovative rule breakers. These people will question everything that you say just to be disagreeable. And they learn over time to be against being in groups and push themselves away from others, or push themselves into isolation and the ability to detach from others and detach from societal norms. And then you might beat yourself up in isolation about the fact that you did this to yourself. Or on the opposite end of this, you can have a God complex that you're so different and be really, really proud of that. And kind of not really care, right? We're talking about the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. So this is somebody who's very pompous and arrogant. That's to the point where it's just completely dislikable. It's really, really hard to like a person in this energy. These people like to experiment in the bedroom. They might be into threesomes, orgies, use toys, or they're like super, super, super kinky. They'll, indulge in one night stands, and a lot of casual sexual affairs. these people can have sex anywhere, in the club, in the bar, in the woods, you name it. They're down for whatever, whenever. Um, and so they might tend to have a lot of sexual partners. Sex is actually the way these people typically communicate. Or they're sapiosexuals, where they'll typically intellectualize their emotions and how they feel, and they use that through sex. And it can be misconstrued sometimes as love and affection, um, or that they might actually really like you for the sake of being in a relationship, but they don't. They just needed some sexual healing, to be heard, to be seen, to be felt, to be understood, and they get this through sex. Um, they might attract um, a lot of friends who are not really their friend. Friends that are not emotionally supportive. They'll talk behind their back, have hidden agendas. And so through this, that they grow a strong cutoff game. These people will cut you off if they see that you're being um unauthentic, or if you seem to be using them. And so typically Aquarius is known for being the best friend of the zodiac. But with Lilith, because we're talking about our lower expression, these people will be like, I don't have friends, I have acquaintances or associates. They don't see people as, I don't want to say worthy of their time and energy, but they understand humanity more than any sign in the whole entire world, being the sign of the humanitarian. And when you're not authentic, it can rub these people the wrong way and lead them down a path of being in this destructive behavior. And so once they learn that about themselves, they'll tend to detach from unauthentic people and gain a strong sense of who's right for me and who's not. And that could lead to saying something like, I don't have friends, I have acquaintances or associates. These people might say things just to see how you'll react. So they might play a lot of mind games. Just again, they're checking to see how smart you are, how stupid you are, what they can get away with, what they can't, whether you're worth their time or not. And it can come off as very mischievous, right? Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and Mercury is known as the trickster. Uranus takes this tenfold, right? These people do not seek out attention, but they do tend to attract or draw other people into them. Especially, I feel like more than anything, when they don't want to be bothered, when they're already fed up and made their mind up, it's when people want to be around them the most. These people can attract weird people, people who are into occult sciences, metaphysics, astrology, people who are in social groups like I think of like all those occultist groups, the secret groups and things of that nature. Now, from the Saturn perspective on the lower expression, these people typically find most of their issues at work. And so they might not be people who keep a job for a long time, or they're there for very short periods of time because they just have a really hard time getting along with other people, socializing in groups. They could be socially awkward and don't really want to engage in groups. or they are very anxious and be more like introverted. And so introverts tend to need smaller groups because when you're in bigger groups, it's way too much energy and it drains the living shit out of people, specifically in this Aquarius energy, mostly because it is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is about shaky electricity. And so air signs in general tend to absorb other people's energy because that's just how we communicate on a very general level. It's not always necessarily through words or even connecting for that matter. It's all mental and it's about our energetic auric fields. And so when we have too many people in our energy, it tends to make us very shaky, um, anxious and like uncomfortable, right? These people can be people who are like don't want you in their space, or wash their hands excessively, um, or just do like have like a lot of nervous tendencies. They might not be able to sit for long periods of time. They might prefer to stand a lot. Things of these natures can be very health related issues as to why they can't be as social as other people. Um, but from the Saturn perspective, these people can be attention seekers, very critical of others. Their mouth is ridiculous. They'll curse you out from A to Z in 2.3 seconds. They tend to overcompensate and be an ass kisser, like a teacher's pet. Um, again, silently awkward, stay in positions long over their time, or past the point of sacrificing some kind of vision that they have or talent that they have. They suppress it by staying in situations way past the time necessary that thwarts their ability to be as extremely creative as they can be, because Saturn is about limitations and blockages. It's a cosmic no. And so these people really, 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 really have to learn the lessons of not staying past their due date or learning how to discern who's for you and who's not. It's super critical in order for you to have that futuristic vision to see beyond certain things, to ignite your creative passions and talents so that you can put it out there in the world. A lot of it could be due to fear, fear of being great, fear of being worthy, um, fear that nobody's going to like what you're selling. And typically, these people really, 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 really are unconventional from the Uranus perspective. They don't care about any of that shit. This is the nomad, they live like nomads. They just want to freaking walk for long periods of time, cover a lot of land, think, very much in their head, thinkers, overthinkers, but they're really assessing, observing. It's like a computer for real. Like they kind of compute everything, and and that takes a lot of time, space, and energy to be. It's required to do things by yourself. Um, or having a lot of people in your circle who are going to help you with the ideas that you get through that long period of time of being by yourself, um, to implement them afterwards. Um, yeah, I feel like those are the differences between Saturnized people and Uranus people, or Saturn Aquarius and Uranus Aquarius. These people are actually probably some of the most loving, caring, supportive, emotional people in the entire world. And they're really not, it's really not so much about being judged or being seen in that light. It depends on what Aquarius you get, that's going to give you that. But for the most part, um, these people are hard workers. They're extremely good networkers. Um, um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like I can say so much more about that. But the truth is the way they think and operate is very unconventional than the way the world expects you to. You know, you value authenticity and independent thinking over everything else, which puts you in an awkward position in a world that is, you know, a bunch of followers and they don't have their own mind and they're afraid to be in that position. But you're willing to question the status quo and highlight the differences and the things that need to change in order for us to be a community and come together. Um, but most of the time, nobody's really listening, you know, and that's the problem. And so these people tend to often shy away, spend long times away from people, traveling. And if they're not traveling by flight, I mean literally by walking. Um, um, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I could say so much more about that, but the truth is this is an untapped energy. Most people in their lifetime will never, ever, ever reach this understanding, this level of understanding. Uranus is a very deep energy, but for the people who do, they are extremely successful. But I can tell you right now, they're not on social media. They're not posting a picture. They're not. You do not know this person, but they are extremely talented. They get around. They have networks um, that support them, love them, and they love them back. These people are long lifetime friends, even if you don't see them every day. Um, yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great energy. So this is my interpretation of Lilith and Aquarius. As usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.